Congratulations. What was the key to bouncing back from such a tough loss yesterday?
Just good players. I mean, you don't do any coaching with that. It's good players who are committed to each other, and they've done this all year, and nothing needed to be said. They just that's all that you can do about that.
And what you think about Heifeld's performance? Freshman, huge crowd, do or die game, and he just seemed like he was so in control. And I think he retired 16 straight at one point before the home run.
Yeah, I just told Sam, and he's pitched great for us in his whole career here, and pitched great for us all year. I just told Sam outside, you got to talk to him in a minute. I thought it was the best game he's ever pitched if you consider all the circumstances, the meaning of the game, the crowd, but mostly the heat. And it was just really hard for him to throw a breaking ball early and get a grip on that thing. And so he had to throw a lot of fastballs today. But I thought it was the best game. Sam likes to pitch quick. He's a pitcher, gets the ball and throws it. But today he had to take his time and become a different pitcher. And that's just the quality of a competitor and a bulldog, which Sam is.
Thanks, Coach.
Rob.
Yeah, Elliott, I lost track of how many bunts you called, but it seemed like every time you did, NC State got it down and moved the runners over. You had the contact play. I forget, I think it might have been Tresh that scored. Just your execution this afternoon against the Razorbacks. Could you just speak to that, please?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about, I think we made the statement early on, whether it was the ACC tournament or whether it was, I think it was actually at the regional. Sometimes you beat teams during the regular season because you might just be better and you still don't execute well. When you get to the last, 16 teams in the country, that execution takes on a different parameter and importance. And you got to do the little things, whether it be base running or getting bunts down or going on a dirt ball. You got to do the little things, and you got to do them well, and you got to do them aggressively, but with a little smartness. And I thought we did a great job getting the bunts down today and yesterday as well.
Do you feel like your team, in terms of the bullpen, in terms of setup for the game 3, is this about the best you could possibly hope for?
Yeah, this is kind of how this has been our the way we've done it the last 3 months. Nothing's changed. This is the way we've done it, and we're in the same situation we've been in for the last 3 months.
And then finally from me, sir, I don't know if you'll win tomorrow, but you came back from what was probably one of the more embarrassing losses in NC State history to beat a 50-win team in their place, and you had to hold on to do it. Is this one of the bigger wins of your career?
They're all big, and this one obviously is really big to beat a great Arkansas team, pretty much number one in the country all year. The winning the SEC, this crowd, this environment. But I disagree with one thing. I don't think it was an embarrassing loss yesterday. Well, obviously the score was lopsided. But when
in that regard, that's what I'm saying.
When you're playing with like 240 teams are sitting at home, I don't think there's anything embarrassing about that.
Well, the pitchers got you there, so the relief pitching that helped you set up, would you say?
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you.
Andrew?
Yeah, Elliott, you said that you told Sam that you thought this was the best game that he's ever pitched. Looking at Evan and what he did after things went a little bit sideways for you guys in the 7th there, to still get you out of it with the lead, and then the way he just completely shut them down in the 8th and 9th innings. Is that one of the better outings that you've seen from him in his career as well?
It's actually a very similar outing to how he's been the last, I'd say, 2 months of the season. That's what he's done. And it was unfortunate there in the 7th. A couple of things happened. The ground ball was just hit very, very well. I think Jose was going to make the play because he's a great player, but it not only hit the rosin, but it hit the bag and kind of popped away. And Jose was going to have a chance to that play. And then he kind of pulled a throw to Murrow. So with all that in there, it just shows the toughness and the competitiveness of Evan Justice, as well as really good stuff. But he's done that the last couple months of the season.
Alec?
Yeah, I think you guys have now won 8 straight games the day after a loss. And today, obviously, I mean, you go down early. Just the resilience of this group and that ability to battle back in these games and battle back from losses, just how impressive has that been for you all season to see that from them?
That's what I've told you all season. You basically just repeated everything I've said at every talk we've had after the games. This is the most impressive group I think I've ever had, and reminds me so much of the first team that I was fortunate enough to coach with Coach Tanner's players. And we've had great teams in between. But when you use the word resilience, when you use the word toughness, I instantly think of this team.
Clara?
Yeah, Coach, I guess kind of going off of that, having a game with a loss of 19 runs kind of gets a lot of teams down. Your team almost seemed to do the opposite, use that as fuel to come back and win today. What does that say about the character of this team and the grit of this team?
And once again, character, grit, whatever adjectives you want to use, that this team, and they know who they are. This team, they understand who they are. Yesterday, nobody wants to get beat by that margin, but they knew how the game went, and they knew how we got to this point. And breakfast this morning was as good as it's ever been. This team is very consistent, and the pulse of this team stays the same no matter what.
Jonas?
Coach, you kind of just answered the question I was going to ask. What was the vibe of the team the last 24 hours? You said the pulse of the team at breakfast was probably as good as it's been. You kind of talked about it before you guys went down there, how loose this group has been. Was that what you expected them to be loose and approach today like they did?
I just expect them to be professionals. That's what they've been all year. They're loose, but they're never tight, but they're not too loose. I know they got a game to play. They're focused, but this is what I'd call a professional group. They approach the game the right way. They respect the game the right way, each other, and it's just been a fun team to watch play.
Tom?
Coach, on Heifels' tempo, did you guys talk to him about maybe slowing things down in this heat today?
No, I did. That's what I told Sam. He had to battle a lot of things today, and he figured out how to battle that. That's what makes him so. He's not only a competitive player and a bulldog, he's smart, and that's what this team is. They have a lot of smarts about him. And he likes to pitch fast, but he couldn't grip the breaking ball early on, and he was throwing a lot of fastballs more than he normally throws. But part of that is the moisture and running down, his forearm and his hand. He probably had to go to Rosenbach probably 40 times today just to get some dryness to be able to throw the ball. And so he was forced to slow things down, and he understood that. But no, we didn't talk to him about that.
All right, wrap us up.
Yeah, Coach, real quick. Justice finished with 48 pitches for you tonight. Is he a guy that would be capable of coming back and throwing again tomorrow if you need him?
That'd be a better question for Evan Justice, but I wouldn't count him out.
All right, that'll wrap us up. Thanks, Coach.